There's an adventure inside all of us. Some of us live for that adventure. Others let it take them someplace new. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Happy Friday. We're getting ready for that holiday weekend. This is a big one, right? I mean, of course, the 4th of July is always exciting and fun, but this is the big one, right? 250th years as an independent nation, the United States of America. So a lot of people are doing some extra celebrating. I don't know what that would mean, but extra celebrations are certainly in store for the North State. And it's going to be not a bad weekend. It's going to be warmer. You know, you think of the temperatures we've seen this week. It's going to be warmer today and even a little bit warmer for tomorrow. But nothing we haven't seen, nothing terribly unusual for this time of the year, so we can't really complain too much about that. Taking a live look from our Divine Sky Cam and taking a look at just the beautiful clear skies we have out there. You may have noticed a little bit of smoke. There's a prescribed burn out there in the Redding area, so just note that there may be some of that smoke kind of hovering around the area. So it is a little hazy this morning. That's what's giving us a little bit of that orange glow off in the distance. Actually makes for a nice sight, but of course, if you're smelling that smoke, nothing to be concerned about here. All right, take a look at the Lake Chestina Golf Resort Sky Camp, sponsored by Elwood Ranch. Oh man, that looks gorgeous. A gorgeous start to the day there. And also taking a look now at Shasta Lake. This is out at the Jones Valley Resort, and you can see the sun coming up there, the right part of your screen. Looks like for the most part, the winds are fairly calm. Things are fairly calm on the lake there. Of course, they're getting ready for the big event, the big drone show, the 250th first year out at Shasta Dam. It's going to be that drone show, very patriotic for 250 years of our nation's freedom. And I think that that's going to be a really cool show. And looks like it might be a little busy too. I mean, it's probably going to be a big event. So we're very excited about that as well. Taking a look at Crescent City this morning. A little bit more fog than we've seen the last few mornings, and that was to be expected. And I think some of the fog that we do see, that we're starting to see along the coast this morning, may have a hard time burning off for some areas along the coast here for today. So it could be interesting. All right, take a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Friday, July 3rd. What is Krueger's Quickcast? Well, I split the forecast into two sections. One, the very top, Krueger's Quickcast. For those of you that are in a hurry, want a quick look at the forecast, know what to expect for the day. And then the deeper dive, that goes into the long range and just kind of really what you can expect with all of the details behind the forecast as well. A lot of people like to stick around for that because the Quickcast, yeah, sure, it's informative, but it doesn't really take you too much beyond today and really over the next 24 hours. Hey, let's take a look at our skeeter meter this week from the Shasta Mosquito and Vector Control. And it's at a 2.4 on a scale of 0 to 5. They've got a lot of great advice for you to help prevent your yard and your property from becoming a breeding grounds. They've got it's a great resource, folks. It's free. You know, your tax dollars go to funding it, and it's what helps to kind of help mitigate the problems that we can have with mosquitoes around the area. So it's up to you to call them, let them know if you've noticed anything unusual in your area regarding mosquitoes, whether it's the standing water that you can't control and you're concerned about that being a breeding grounds. If you've got a pond and you want some fish in there that can help prevent the mosquitoes from breeding in those waters, they'll come out and bring the fish. So a great resource. Call the Shasta Mosquito and Vector Control to see what they can do to help you out as well. Jackie Dixon is checking in this morning from Trinidad. 4th of July, happy 4th of July, and stay safe is what she's saying, and most likely she's dealing with some of that fog as well. And it's kind of got that 4th of July feel tonight at the Anderson Explodes. It's an annual event. It's tonight at the Shasta District Fairgrounds. You've got clear skies. Should be fairly warm at 8 p.m. By 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we're talking about temperatures in general in the mid-80s. So still pretty mild, but should be some good weather for the Anderson fireworks display for tonight. And how about that Freedom 250th at the Shasta Dam? This is the first time they're going to be doing it, first time in the North State. It is going to be a lighted drone show. You've probably seen them online. If you've been fortunate enough to see one outside of our area, should be a spectacular sight. I know I haven't seen one. I might be able to make it this evening, but we shall see. But tonight, it's at the Shasta Dam. Of course, you can check online for the best places to go to check it on out. But there you can see, again, kind of the same situation temperature-wise for Anderson. Temperatures probably, by the time the show starts, will probably be somewhere in the mid to upper 80s or mid 80s in general. So some mild weather, no clouds, no rain, should be good weather for checking out those drones. So whether you're checking out Anderson Explodes or the drone show, you've got good weather in store for us here. All right, let's take a look at the temperatures out there right now. We're at about mid 60s on average for the valley, 40s, even some 50s for the higher elevations, and low 50s for the coast. All right, let's take a look at out the door this morning. Still some of that fog along the coast. We did see that out of the Crescent City, Harbor District, and most likely seen that fog elsewhere along the coast. Otherwise, sunny skies and mild conditions to start the day. You may have noticed those clouds we saw yesterday. We actually saw a weak disturbances. You can clearly see that line of clouds at the beginning of this loop here. See that? That is a weak disturbance that passed through. Didn't bring us any rain. It just kind of increased our humidity a little bit, gave us a little bit more cloud cover, and that helped to drop our temperatures a little bit. Not by much. It was still pretty warm out there. But I do expect even warmer temperatures as those clouds move out. We've already seen the clear skies this morning. And we're also going to be talking about some monsoon moisture working its way from the south. All right, taking a look at Futurecast. Let's take a look at today at least. And you can see the afternoon, the clouds developing in the mountains. No rain, no thunderstorms. And look at the fog along the coast. It's having a hard time burning off. I think some areas may see some clearing, but I do think we're probably going to see more fog today than we've seen the last few days. If you're heading out to the pool today, today's a good day to head out to the pool, right? Temperatures in the north end of the valley, upper 90s, and may touch 100 for some of the warmer spots. And the places like, say, the south end of the valley, probably somewhere in the mid-90s for your daytime highs. But bottom line, it's going to be warm. You're going to be heading out to the pools, and you got to think about safety. It's that time of the year. We got more pool parties. People are spending more time around the water, whether it's at your pool or whether it's out at the lake. And Minnie Odell from Redding ISR, she gives swim lessons, the most effective way to treat your children at a very young age to learn safety water tips. So Mindy Odell, throughout the summer, is working with us here at Weather NorCal, and she will be providing a tip of the week when it comes to water safety tips. So let's take a look at this week's Mindy Odell's water safety tips.
As the North State heats up, people are bound to spend more time around the water, and the one mistake most people make is assuming someone else is watching the water. You see, the truth is, most drownings happen when a parent is present, just distracted long enough for a child to slip under the water unnoticed. So at your next pool party or lake day, assign a water watcher, someone designated to watch the water with no distractions. Rotate this position every 15 minutes to make sure that there's an active adult watching the water at all times. And if you have a child that isn't water safe yet, get in the water with them and be their own personal lifeguard. I'm Mindy Odell with Redding ISR, reminding you that drowning is preventable and every child deserves to feel safe around the water.
Well, absolutely love those tips coming in from Mindy Odell ISR. Be sure to check out her website. Give her a call if you're interested in getting your kids the proper training they need, starting from a very young age. We're talking, I believe, we're talking 6 months old and then, of course, older. And she does this great where they learn to roll on their backs, right, once they get in the water. So it's really amazing to watch that process and check it out. All right, take a look at the forecast for today, and yeah, warmer, mid to upper 90s in the valley, 80s, even some 90s in the higher elevations, and low to mid 60s. And for tonight, looks for temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for the valley, somewhere in the upper 40s to low 50s for the higher elevations, and even along the coast. All right, here's a look at your 7-day outlook. Yes, it's warmer for the weekend. And really, when we go through next week, just take a look at those highs, between 95 and 100 on average. Closer to the mid-90s for places like Chico, closer to the upper 90s for places like Redding and Red Bluff. Now for the coast, about 60, give or take. For the inland areas for Trinity County, same situation. Keeping those temperatures right around normal for this time of the year. And you'll notice thunderstorms in the forecast for Alturas, But there are some other mountain areas that may see thunderstorms as well, and the valley, maybe some of this wet weather associated with this as well. We're going to get into that in the deeper dive here in a little bit. A little teaser there for you. But first, let's take a look at our fire weather outlook. And you can see the wind's not too strong today, so that certainly is some good news. Tomorrow, they're beginning to slowly pick up, especially off in the eastern mountains. On Sunday, from the south for the valley, a little strong off in the eastern mountains, and then Monday, a little bit stronger as well. So what does all this mean for our fire weather outlook? Well, first of all, the fire weather risk is the color coding. Greens and yellows, nothing to be really terribly concerned about. When we start seeing oranges, that's when it starts getting a bit more elevated. Reds and the purples, that's when you really need to be prepared. All right, so the numbers on your screen, that's the relative humidity numbers. So as you can see, it's dry. Today, we're mainly in the greens and yellows across the board. Saturday, begin to see a bit more orange in the valley. That's because it's getting warmer. We're back up to about 100 degrees, especially around the Redding area. Sunday, we're beginning to see more oranges, not only for the valley, but even parts of the mountains as well. So we're elevating that fire weather risk on Sunday off to the east. Monday, kind of the same situation. It's still pretty warm, low humidity, and the winds are picking up a little bit, and that's going to elevate that fire weather risk. So we can never let our guards down, even when we're just in the greens and yellows. But that's certainly some good news, at least for today. But increasing fire weather risk as we go through the weekend. All right, taking a look at, again, at our Divine Sky Cam over the Redding area. By the way, I want to show you something, because you can, I'm going to have the camera for, let's go to weathernorcal.com on here. I want to show you something. So when you go to the website, weathernorcal.com, you see right up here it says Sky Cams. I want you to go to Sky Cams on 4th of July night and go to the Redding webcam. I am going to make sure to point this camera, I'm going to put it at big screen here. I'm going to be sure to point this camera out at the Sundial Bridge when the fireworks are going on. So if you aren't able to check out the fireworks or you don't want to deal with the crowds or whatever, you can check it out at weathernorcal.com. You'll also be able to watch it from, I'll probably even stream it live on the 24-hour channel just for fun. We'll see. We'll see, but bottom line, go to weathernorcal.com and you can stream that from the Redding camera, Redding webcam, right there. Just click on that one. And you want to click on where you see right up there, it's that little box with an arrow pointing out, because if you just click on it itself, it won't do anything, but it's that little arrow that you want to click, and that will make it full screen for you. All right? So I just wanted to kind of get you updated on that, and there you go. All right, let's take a look at the Lake Shastina camera. This is out at the Lake Shastina Golf Resort, sponsored by Elwood Ranch. Beautiful morning out there. It's beginning to warm up even out in Mount Shasta. Take a look at the Shasta Lake camera. This is out at the Jones Valley Resort, also sponsored by Elwood Ranch. A little bit of choppiness on the water there, and the winds not too terribly strong, but you know, overall a nice mild morning to start the day off. Soda Ridge, well, it looks like the camera moved over a little bit here. But we're going to take a look at now Lassen Park. I don't see any snow in the mountains there. It's that time of the year, folks. It's getting warmer and warmer. Take a look at Lake Oroville. Nice pole at the center of your screen there. It's just the bad luck, I guess, when the camera moves around. Taking a look at Main Street Chico on Highway 32. Looks like traffic is moving along there. And yeah, we've been looking at clear mornings out of Crescent City Harbor District, but things have changed. You've got a bit more fog out there along the coast. Taking a look at Bald Hill West, looking down at Hoopa Valley. And looks like we do have mainly clear skies. Beautiful shot there. Love to look at that Hoopa Valley there. This is looking at Fort Jones area. This is in Scott Valley. You've got mainly clear skies out there in Siskiyou County as well. Well, we've got a sponsor here at Weather NorCal, and really since day one, the primary sponsor of Coffee with Krueger is Wind River Resort and Casino. So before we get to our deeper dive forecast, a word from Wind River Resort and Casino.
Hi, this is Maisie with Haven Humane Society in Anderson, and this is our wonderful pet of the week, Raja. Raja is an 8-year-old shepherd mix, and she weighs in at a mighty...
All right, folks. I totally forgot about pet of the week. We're going to go into the pet of the week, and then we're going to go into our sponsor, Wind River Resort and Casino. So let's go into that again. Pet of the week. Here we go.
Hi, this is Maisie with Haven Humane Society in Anderson, and this is our wonderful pet of the week, Raja. Raja is an 8-year-old shepherd mix, and she weighs in at a mighty 100 pounds. But don't let that bother you because she is incredibly sweet and gentle, as you can see. This happy girl is really not sure why she's here. She came in a little unsure, but she has really blossomed in such a short period of time, and she's starting to show us her personality. She is incredibly sweet and laid back. If you're looking for a dog to hang out with, maybe play in the yard with, Raja would probably be a good choice for you. She has seemed interested in other dogs. We don't know how she does with cats. She is really just sweet and easygoing. She really loves to be pet. If you do take her into your home, please be prepared to get a really good vacuum and a brush. But we think she's worth it. Because she is 8 years old, her adoption fee is fully sponsored, so you will only have to pay a licensing fee depending on where you live. But if you are interested in giving this old big gal a home, please call us at 530-241-1653 or stop by our Morgan Adoption Center to meet her. She'll be waiting.
I really love it. You know, I noticed too, much like my dog Nessie, whenever she starts really enjoying when you're petting her, she does this little snaggle there. Her little lip goes up and you can see her tooth. I call it the snaggle tooth whenever we pet her. And it looks like our Raja has that same thing. So super cute dog. Be sure to contact the Haven Humane Society if you are interested in Raja. All right. As I had mentioned earlier, we have got a sponsor here. And the primary sponsor of Coffee with Krueger is Wind River Resort and Casino.
We're ending the weekend on a high note. Join us at Wind River Resort and Casino and indulge in our Sunday brunch. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're serving up all the favorites from savory classics to sweet treats. Mimosas included. Get this, all you can eat brunch for $45 with a River Club card or $55 without. Gather your friends and family for the perfect relaxing Sunday morning or afternoon. For full menu or complete details, visit windriver.com or call 1-800-280-YOU-WIN. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Might be good to head on out there for that Sunday brunch, maybe after a wonderful 4th of July, and a great way to maybe wrap up that holiday weekend here with some Sunday brunch at Wind River Resort and Casino. All right, so as you know, if you are a regular here at Weather NorCal, we have the weather forecast split into 2 sections. Quick cast for a quick look at the forecast, and then after that, we go into a deeper dive for those of you that want more detail with the forecast. And we also kind of extend and go out in the longer range as well. So let's start with our weather headlines. Warming trend going into the weekend. We've got those eastern mountains may get some monsoon moisture and some thunderstorms, a very good possibility. Highs near normal though for next week. The normal high in the valley, 98. So that's still hot. And we're going to be kind of looking at 98, give or take. So at some days 100 degrees, some days mid-90s. Just depends on each day. Potential for some bigger heat near the middle of July. I'm still seeing that potential. But even looking out in the next 10 days, you're not going to see signs of that. So it's not until the middle of the month. All right, so temperatures right now are fairly mild in the valley. Temperatures mainly in the mid-60s, 40s, 50s right now for the higher elevations, and low 50s right now for the coast. All right, take a look at your satellite image here over the last 12 hours. So we did see some clouds. You may have noticed yesterday. We saw some of those clouds come in. You see this line right here? We'll kind of take a look at the very beginning of the loop. There's that line. That's the line of a very weak disturbance that passed through. It brought us the clouds, no rainfall. It did hinder our temperatures a little bit, partially responsible for those cooler temperatures we did see, or keeping those temperatures around normal, or below normal, excuse me. And then once this comes out, we've got more storms off to our north. Now the thing is, what you'll notice is, you see that? That's actually from a hurricane or a tropical storm that had developed over the eastern Pacific. This is moisture coming from that. So what's happening is we get high pressure here. This is going to be flowing northward. And it's certainly a subtropical moisture in content. And that is going to be a source for the potential for some thunderstorms late this weekend into early next week. And we'll get into that here in a second. But let's start with the overall trend. We've been talking about this heat wave over the eastern United States. That continues through the weekend. So big ridge of high pressure over the eastern United States, big ridge of high pressure over the Pacific. Now what you'll notice, we looked at the same map yesterday, but what was different is yesterday we saw a nice little trough of low pressure right here. That allows the cooler air to pool down to the south. But as I was mentioning, we're starting to see high pressure build in. You can see this little circle right here. That's the ridge beginning to build and get stronger. As it moves northward, What it's doing is it's breaking that trough of low pressure apart. So instead of a nice little dip, when you see that dip in the jet stream like this, cooler air pulls down into that. And now it moderates by the time it gets over us this time of the year, but it keeps our temperatures at bay. But if we start seeing less and less of it and it begins to flatten out more and more, like we're seeing here, we get more of a zonal flow type pattern. The warmer air begins to move on in. So instead of the cooler air pulling down, the warmer air filtering in, and now we're beginning to warm things up. So let's take you through the weekend. There's Saturday, there's Sunday. You see that ridge right there? Nice prominent ridge of high pressure right here. Now, the ridge is mainly to our south and east, but it is expanding and building into Northern California and is pushing the cooler air to our north, and we, as a result, warm up over the weekend. Now, we take you into next week, all through next week. Look what happens. See that? We have some cooler air to our north. It continues to ride to our north. We have heat, kind of just a big elongated ridge of high pressure over the southern United States. A little break in that right here, and then another ridge off to our west. So we got all of this heat to our south. It's expanding northward, and that's going to allow our temperatures to generally stay around normal for this time of the year. And what I mean by that is, for the valley, that normal high is about 98 degrees. All right, so it'll be give or take that. And I'd say probably mid to upper 90s for places like Chico, upper 90s to a little over 100 degrees for places like Redding and Red Bluff. All right? And in the mountains, 80s and 90s. Coast, of course, yeah. Temperatures more like the upper 50s actually through next week with that marine layer. So that's the overall trend that we're seeing here through next week. Nothing major, but I am watching this. This could potentially move on in by the middle of the month and really expand into our region, giving us some bigger heat by the middle of the month. No guarantees at this point, but it is something in a trend that I'm seeing that's more and more consistent in the long-range forecast models. In the meantime, the Climate Prediction Center is putting us in that near normal to just barely above normal for this time of the year. And that's what I expect when we look at the 10-day trend. See that? The blue line is 98 degrees. 98 degrees is the normal high for the Redding area. We're going to be right around that, give or take a few degrees, right? You see Monday 96, but back up to normal on Tuesday. A little bit warmer, around 100, 101 by Thursday, Friday, back down to the upper 90s by Saturday, Sunday. You get the idea, right? We're just kind of hovering around that 98 degree mark all week, next week, and all that next weekend as well. So yes, it's going to be hot, but nothing unusual for this time of the year. We'll certainly take it. All right, let's talk about that chance for thunderstorms I was talking about now. All right, so the fog along the coast, you see that? It's having a hard time burning off. We do have the afternoon clouds in the mountains, no rain, no thunderstorms. Now, let's take you into your Saturday, right? The fog may burn off a little bit here for Saturday afternoon. Saturday evening should be good for the fireworks displays, right? There's a look at this, a little bit more moisture, a shower trying to develop in Modoc County, but otherwise dry. Sunday, check this out. It just kind of boom right there. All right, so that's the monsoon moisture I was talking about. We basically got high pressure over the desert southwest. The high pressure is positioned just right that you have a clockwise flow, or when you're looking at it, it's more this way. No, wait, is that right? Yeah, that's, no. It's backwards for me, so I'm having a hard time figuring this out. Clockwise flow. Let's do that. There we go. Clockwise flow. So what happens is that you got the clockwise flow around the area of high pressure over the desert southwest. So we're on the west side of that flow, so that is coming up from the south. That comes into eastern Modoc County, maybe northeastern Lassen County. This could potentially bring some showers and thunderstorms Sunday afternoon. Now, we're not actually looking at any disturbances pushing through. This is more what we call convective activity. So you have heat throughout the day, and it's always rising, right? That heat is always rising, no matter what. It's always happening. If there's a moisture source, that's when we start seeing convective activity. That's when we start seeing clouds developing. That's when we start seeing showers and thunderstorms. That's essentially what's happening here. We've got the moisture source. We've got the heat. The two combined together with that convection will bring the potential for showers and thunderstorms. Look at this. What? Right? Sunday night into Monday, the flow around that low, you're seeing the showers and thunderstorms that are developed to the south Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Some of those left over with that moisture around the flow around that area of high pressure could bring some activity to the valley. And especially to the east of that, into Siskiyou County. This is late at night, Sunday early morning and into early morning Monday. Okay, so most of you will be asleep when this is happening. This is something we'll be watching. Be sure to keep checking in with Chase Wilson over the weekend. He'll have the latest. And of course, I'll be in Monday morning to see what happens with that. 3 p.m. Monday, right? Mainly to the north and east. So all that energy just kind of works its way to the north and east. And then we should start to see that move on out. But I'm going to be watching the potential for maybe even Tuesday, seeing that as well. So the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma, is showing on Sunday at least a sliver over Modoc County. But we saw on Futurecast Sunday that the thunderstorms are going to be right around here. But most of them would be up to the north and to the east. And of course, no more thunderstorms anywhere else. Taking a look at the lake levels, still at 101% out at Shasta Lake. We're keeping it above that historical average, and that's the good part. We're still seeing the lake levels drop. That's normal, nothing unusual. But when you look at the historical averages and where we should be, we're doing okay. We're doing just fine. All right, let's take a look at the wave heights. They are dropping here for today, but I do expect them to increase a little bit here for your Saturday. Things could get a little choppy as you're heading out 10 to 20 nautical miles out. So bigger craft, yeah, you're okay. But smaller craft, you may be on the lookout for that on Saturday, 4th of July. But should be okay near the shore. All right, so there you can see those winds from the north, 10 to 15 knots. Waves from the northwest at 5 feet at 7 seconds. And from the west at 1 foot at about 15 seconds. No advisories. There are more, though, again, heading out. All right, so taking a look at your neighborhood forecast sponsored by Dignity Health and Grange Co-op. Starting off with Trinity County as usual. So you see the cloud cover here? That's that disturbance. That's the potential for some of those clouds moving in. But I think any showers and thunderstorms that we do see, even as we go into Monday, will be well to the east of Trinity County. But I do expect, once we get to Saturday, that's the peak, right? But look at this, basically 94 to 95 for Sunday through all of next week. For the North Coast, about 60, give or take, for the next 7 days. More of that marine layer, keeping it mostly cloudy through a good portion of next week. I mean, there will be some clearing, but you'll definitely have a hard time through the afternoon. All right, temperatures for the inland areas, yeah, it's warmer there. Not impacted by that marine air, so we're talking upper 80s to low 90s through next week. Now for Siskiyou County, I don't have any showers or thunderstorms for you just yet. I'm waiting for a little bit more consistency, but if you see anything, it would probably be Monday. You see the clouds moving in Sunday. Sunday night and a Monday, some clouds as well. Maybe a chance for a stray shower or thunderstorm. We'll see. I'm going to hold off, wait for another forecast model run before I maybe confirm that and put that on the 7 day. So I may put that on this evening. Chase Wilson may put it in as well. We'll see. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I don't expect anything. Modoc County, I've actually just committed to it, right? So we've got Sunday, Monday, chances for showers and thunderstorms both days. I'm watching Tuesday. Tuesday may be another day we'll have to watch, but we'll see. Otherwise, low 90s for Sunday through next week. Eastern Mountains, I'm not committing to you either as far as thunderstorms are concerned. If it's going to happen, it's going to be Sunday night and into Monday. Otherwise, you're dry, temperatures low to mid-90s. To the south, in the valley, I haven't committed to the rain there yet, although we did see on Futurecast a potential for late Sunday night, early Monday morning. Not put in the forecast just yet, but something worth watching. It's getting warmer, though, by tomorrow. Tomorrow's the peak of the heat wave, or the warming trend, if you will. 97 for Saturday in Chico for your 4th of July. Temperatures generally mid-90s. All right, we take you up to the north. Could we touch 100 degrees today? Yeah, sure. Some spots, maybe. Generally, though, in the upper 90s for the north end of the valley. Looking at your 7-day forecast for Redding, up to about 101 degrees on Saturday, 98 Sunday, mid to upper 90s. So really upper 90s on average through next week. You know, a nice little, I'd say, cool down, if you will, on Monday with 96. That's with that weak disturbance passing through. So it should be interesting. It's a pattern I'll be watching. Of course, as I mentioned, we got Chase Wilson on weekends. He'll be watching that closely as well. In the meantime, we're just going to be prepared for a hot weekend and hot next week. Pretty stagnant weather pattern, actually, with the exception of that disturbance pushing through Sunday night into Monday. All right. That is a look at Curtis Brown is asking me. Good morning, Mike. Are we having high humidity? Seems last night was humid. Measured 50. Yeah, there was a disturbance that passed through, and it did bring in some moisture. So that did bring in some higher humidity levels. With this monsoon moisture coming in, that may keep our humidity a little bit higher than normal as well. So we'll see. But that's good. We want to see those humidity levels high, right? It's a little bit more uncomfortable for us, especially if you have a swamp cooler. But from a fire weather standpoint, the more humid it is, the better, right? Because it's harder for those fuels to take off. So we'll see. And Jackie's saying something nice. She's saying, thank you, Weather NorCal team, for all that you do to keep us informed. Absolutely. That's why I started Weather NorCal. And, I was having a meeting with someone I'm part of a BNI group, and meeting with somebody, learning more about their business, and as they learn more about Weather NorCal. And really, she was asking me, how's it going over there, Weather NorCal? I'm like, man, it's been 3 years. I've been doing this for 3 years, folks. And the growth is just phenomenal. I was looking at my overall growth, and my wife and I were looking at the numbers, everything kind of moving forward here. And wow, things are going well. And this is going to allow Weather NorCal to grow. So I've got some plans coming up, through the rest of this year. There are going to be a few possible changes for the better that I think you're going to like. Possibly even a bigger weather team. There's somebody I'm talking to. I'll just leave it at that. And we could potentially be looking at another meteorologist that many of you probably know. Many of you know and trust. And I'm looking forward to possibly working with this person. That's all I got to say for now. But so things are going really well. I'm very thrilled with the way things are going. So looking good, my friends, looking good. Let's keep this going, right? And thank you all so much for all of your support over those years, especially the ones that have been there since day one. And those of you that may have recently discovered Weather NorCal, keep it coming. Keep telling your friends, your family. Download the app. Check in regularly, because that is what keeps Weather NorCal going. Even during the mundane weather, it's always good to stay informed, right? Because things may be happening that you don't know about, and it's important to know about that. Like, for example, if you're up in Modoc County, you're like, yes, it's going to be sunny and hot. Oh, maybe some thunderstorms Sunday, right? Monday. So that's what we're here for, and that's what we do. All right, we're going to take a look at, let's do this. It's a little fun. We're getting ready for a weekend coming up here. We're going to take a look at the forecast for tonight. If you're heading out to Anderson Explodes, here you go. Here's your forecast for tonight. Heading out to the Shasta District Fairgrounds. So 8 o'clock in the evening, when the sun is still out or just kind of getting close to setting, clear skies, mid-90s. So it's going to be pretty warm. But once the sun goes down, you're looking at clear skies, a little mild, temperatures in the mid-80s. I know that they're excited. A lot of big things happening over there. I think I saw that they've got food trucks. No, excuse me. I think they're going to have some food trucks in the works. So they're kind of really evolving Anderson Explodes and what they're doing over there at the Shasta District Fairgrounds. This is one of the first time here in the North State. It's Freedom 250th Shasta Dam. Now tonight at Shasta Dam, they're going to have a drone show, lighted drone show. And, some of you may have seen this on social media over the years. It's spectacular with what they can do with the drones. And we, for the first time here in the North State, are going to have our own drone show over the dam. How exciting is that? Same situation tonight, right? As far as the temperatures are concerned in Anderson, mid-90s by 8 p.m. And then it's cooling off a little bit, mid-80s on average by the time the show starts. So you've got clear skies, no rain. It's not going to be cold or anything like that. It's not going to be too hot by the time the sun does set. So it should be very nice and pleasant. So lots of great weather for you. And of course, we're going to have this evening, we'll take a look at some of the forecasts for some of the surrounding areas for the 4th of July fireworks displays that we have, including the Freedom Fest in Reading and what they got going out in Chico as well, and some of the mountain areas. So be sure to tune in this evening for a look at that. And of course, Chase Wilson will probably have some of that for you as well over the weekend too. So it should be fun. All right, folks. Oh, and by the way, if you had a chance to check out Mindy's water tips, she is an ISR instructor here in Redding, the only ISR instructor in Redding. What does that mean? Well, you can find out more. And you can find out more by going to weathernorcal.com. I'm going to take you to the home page. It's really easy to find, folks. Scroll down and see where it says Mindy's Water Safety Tips. Click on that. So it'll give you the latest safety tip for you and your family and your kiddos. And you'll learn more about Mindy Odell Redding ISR on the right side here. You can learn what ISR means. It's Infant Swimming Resource. Great resource for swimming. Check out readingisr.com for more details. And she gives the most effective way to teach your kids how to swim and learn to stay safe in the water from a very, very young age. What did she say the youngest age? Yeah, ages 6 months to 6 years is how quickly and how soon you can do that. Oh, by the way, Jackie has been saying, been following you this journey for a few years. Well, thank you, Jackie. I certainly appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone as well. All right, folks, we're getting ready for the 4th of July weekend. I hope you all stay safe and have a happy holiday weekend. I'm looking forward to it, heading out to Mount Shasta tomorrow morning for their fun run. I'm not going to be running, but my son will. My wife and I will be doing the walk. They got all kinds of cool stuff going on up there. So let me know what you're doing. Hope you're having a fun weekend. Lots of barbecues, the works. We've got the Bernie Basin Days coming up. Tim Moore saying, morning, Mike Krueger, Weather NorCal. Happy 4th. Head to Bernie Basin Days this weekend. Yeah, maybe. I think that's on Saturday. They have a parade. 4th of July, they have the fireworks. So yeah, should be cool. I might. We'll see. We'll see what we got going on this weekend. Like I say, we're going to be in Mount Shasta Saturday morning. So we'll see what we can do for Saturday afternoon and even Sunday. So thank you, Tim, for that update. I'm assuming you'll probably be there, so be sure to check that out. And by the way, as I mentioned earlier, and you may not have had a chance to see it, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyways. I want you to go to, because we've got the camera, go up here where it says Sky Cams. Click on that, and you see all the Sky Cams. We've got 3 different Sky Cams. They're live. They're always available live. Go to the Redding Skycam. See where it says that little box right here? You click on that, and I will have the camera pointed at the Sundial Bridge and during the fireworks display. And you can watch, if you're not fortunate enough to get out there, you can watch the fireworks display live from your computer screen. And I might even just go ahead and throw that onto the 24-hour streaming channel, and you can watch the fireworks display right there from your screen. So you don't have to deal with the crowds, the works. So that's something you can do at weathernorcal.com. Okay, that's going to do it for us today, folks. Like I said, hope you have a safe weekend, and we will see you right here. And be sure to keep checking in over the weekend. Chase Wilson does a great job keeping you informed throughout the weekend. Have a great day, and we'll see you on Monday.